we are working. Beautiful. Yes. Awesome. All right. So I'm going to take that from you after I show you how to work this guy. So the red square means that it's recording. Okay. So basically, the blue and black spots are your colder areas. So kind of give you an example, I should be orange, red, and yellow.
Yeah.
Right? So all the blue and black behind me, what we're looking for are things to move on their own. You want to try to keep a person in view because our skin temperature is going to be the most warmest thing. The ground in here is made of gravel mud, so you're going to see a variation on the ground. This also is set up to give us a blue dot. See the little blue dot bouncing around down in here? So it's always going to give us the coldest spot on the screen at that time. So what's nice is that'll show up in the video as well. This guy means it's recording. Don't pay any attention to the timer. I do want you to keep the camera on your left. So even when I say stop it and restart it again, make sure the camera's on your left because it goes to YouTube and then I send it back to the website. If you don't, then it's a flipped upside down portion of the video.
Right.
So I do splice them all together. This is kind of a cheat sheet for you, so you can kind of see the warmest spot and the coldest spot in the temperature. So notice like the 79 degrees up here is not what the crosshairs is, because the crosshairs is just wherever the center of the screen is, right? So it's still showing like there's an 80-degree difference, an 80-degree temperature here, but the coldest spot is around 70. I'm looking for probably a good 20 to 30-degree difference between the highest and lowest before I get excited. So I'm gonna swap with you. That makes me very happy that we'll at least have some video. And I'm still going to give the 64 video, the photos now. So,
Alright.
So we'll still have those. That also means that I can focus on everybody instead of trying to get laser pictures with you. So nice slow movements with that guy. Look at you, man. You're getting like the full run, the full gambit tonight.
Yeah, this is cool. Like as soon as I saw it on the TripAdvisor, I was like, yeah, I'm hopping on it.
All right.
Yeah, it's still going.
Good. I will also tell you, people do not like their cars being filmed. Which, by the way, happy anniversary. She just told me.
So thank you.
And I didn't tell you, Marissa. I actually have a daughter that her birthday is today.
Oh!
So
Happy birthday to her.
She's 21.
Wow.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not real happy about that. I'm getting old. But people don't like their cars being filmed, so if somebody's going to their car, you're just going to go the other way. They don't know what we're doing out here. So, granted, if I was a car thief, that would be my first tool of choice. You look like you have something to tell me.
Yeah.
She's like, oh yeah, I got all kinds of stuff.
Dan, touch, picture, Eileen, name.
Stop you on the picture. I have the word orb that showed up as he was taking pictures at the time. And I said, I'm not going to take that as anything until somebody gives me the word image. She just gave it to me. So now I have to go through the pictures pretty closely. No, it's fine. That's good stuff. That's what I want. That's what we want, not just me. Okay, sorry. Eileen.
Name, and then if you say the song, it's on the radio on the way down.
Choice.
That's fine.
I'm excited about that. I know that's probably the one word you're like, that really, that's what you got. But there's no Dan, there's no Eileen. Name. Pretty vague. You know what I mean? Like, we're looking for those specific. Now I have two clues that tell me, go look at the damn pictures. Because those are more of it. What do you guys have?
We got fire. And then green.
So they actually, originally, they started off with a whole lot of things about the fact that there was life and love and all kinds of things. So that it's very relevant to this location. Because there's no affair and any kind of mishaps of the marriage. Okay, at least have a theme going. We'll see what else everybody else gets. We'll get a picture of it.
Oh, okay.
So over up into the corner. Let me get you guys some answers and kind of see what's going on here and kind of update you on
Say, as
what's
soon
going
as I
on.
put my earbud back in, it hurts.
So we have who heard 3 boys? So 3 boys and a girl. I think I just want to tie all of the clues together for you because I'm giving you guys all of these little vague pieces and you're giving me a lot of great stuff.
Is 5 a relevant number?
5 is not a relevant. Oh, yes it is. Alright, so, wow, you guys gave me a lot. Just the earbuds are working for sure. So we obviously talked about all the love and the stuff that you guys heard. Did you guys hear the number 5 as well?
Yeah.
Eliza's death day was in May. So just kind of keep that in mind. We had a lot of 9s show up in this spirit box over here. So with the 9s, there is somewhat of a relation. There's not 9 children, but she also heard 9, 19, and 90. So Eliza died in 1793. She also heard several number of 3s. Were they tied together? She doesn't think so. So again, I'm going to take it with a grain of salt that they're not really tied loosely. But the number 5, definitely we have that. We do have the word orb that showed up on the digital spirit box, and you gave me the first picture. I'm excited about that because I literally just told Marissa moments ago I'm waiting for the word picture to show up. Speaking of picture, little
Yeah, I
update.
have picture too.
Did you have picture as well?
Yeah. One person was taking a picture. And now I have hide now, so.
Hide.
And find me.
What was the first one? Oh, that one.
So the first one was find me.
Oh, find me.
That's what it's find me.
Oh, yeah, we're not going to play hide and seek, Eliza. I'm sorry. I know it's supposed to be a fun night. Update on the camera. The thermal imaging camera is now working. So we took about 66 pictures with the full spectrum camera. I will get those back to you, and you're going to hopefully, fingers crossed, that thing will work for us all night long. Be able to get you guys back to the thermal. We're going to go ahead and hit that red square now to save what we have. Kind of get a minute or two before
Upper
we're taking
net?
Upper net?
She said upper net.
A brunette.
Huh?
A brunette?
Mm-hmm.
I thought you said upper net.
No, a brunette.
Sorry, I'm from the north. I've lived down here for 10 years, and you'd think I'd get used to accents by now, but I just can't. Anything weird going on your end? Because I have caught some shadow figures down here in the past.
There was like
Weird.
right down there. It looks like
No one's here.
there was something down there.
Okay. That cold spot looks like it was right in the center too. Oh, you got the sky in there. It's hard to when you have the sky in view, it's automatically going to default to the sky,
Alright.
unfortunately. So, if you want to keep filming till we get to the edge of the alley, so that way in case anything does want to pop up, hopefully we'll capture something. It'll be in the middle of your video. Let's go learn about this Philadelphia alley, guys.
Turn.
Still working. I was gonna cheat tonight, but I'm not.
16. They're special.
16 special. 16 special. Got nothing. Yeah, I'm not making. I gotta always stop and think. Like, where are we going? What are we listening for? You can probably stop the video. Cemetery almost the entire time, so hopefully something will pop up out of this. So you got the words white light. Let's first talk about this sign that's in front of me. It says there's no ghost here at St. Philip's but the Holy Ghost. There's a reason for that. I don't want jerks like me up here with my crazy cameras trying to reenact the ghost story that actually happened here. The white light that I'm going to point out is up here to the left. If you notice, it is a different color than all of the other lights. It is pointed directly at the sign to deflect any cameras to recreate this event. So what happened here? 1888, a young lady dies by the name of Sue Howard Hardy. As corny and cheesy as it sounds, her initials, Sue Howard Hardy. So, I've heard it and seen it before, or else I wouldn't even bring up such cheesiness. So, she dies 6 days after her stillborn child. So, 1987, we have a local photographer in town taking pictures of all of our beautiful cemeteries. What happens from there is he's going to develop his film, and he notices a little streak in his camera that he can't figure out what's going on there. So, with that said, it's 1987, there's no technology. He sends it off to Kodak to try to get this picture debunked. They can't debunk the picture either. So, what he captures is a full-body apparition with a baby basket kneeling over Sue's grave. So, I'm going to show you this picture. However, I'm going to ask, most of you are females tonight, this picture is cursed to females. Please do not touch the tablet. I'm going to get closer to you so I can point it out of how it actually looks. The picture is cursed to females. Pregnant females, it's even worse. So if females that are handling the picture, you're going to get the same symptoms like what I told you about back at Big John's. Headache, nausea, that kind of mentality. Pregnant females, obviously not going to have a good pregnancy based on the gist of the story. However, what's going to happen here is you're going to look at this and go, holy cow, this stuff is gold for me. I'm not going to be the guy where somebody had a great vacation and 9 months later, I cursed your family. So please don't touch the tablet. This is the cemetery right behind us. This is the apparition. These are her shoulders. We're looking at her back. There's the baby basket next to her. That's the cemetery. Have you seen this picture before, Janae? Her shoulders, that's her back, and there's the baby basket. I mean, it's in detail on that baby basket. So this is the actual photo. So again, this is the cursed photo. If something pops up out of your spirit boxes that I hear that is related to this photo, and I have to give you the link so you guys can read the rest of the story, there will be a heated warning. Do not handle it on a mobile device. Have a mail show it to you. Open it up for you, read it on a phone or whatever. Just don't handle the picture. Again, I'm not going to be that guy. You guys imagine my profession, and I'm very, very superstitious.
That really just makes me want to handle it, right? Stop.
You're killing the smalls. So, a couple of things here that I'd like to point out. There are two different sides to the cemetery. This is the eastern side that we're standing on now. So, this is where the native Charlestonians are buried. Everybody else goes across the street. So, for you history buffs, John Calhoun is buried across the street. They were trying to figure out where the hell he was supposed to go. They moved him several different times. He is in a sarcophagus, so it probably took about 15 men to pick it up and carry it, and he ended up on the other side. The number 7 will show up here quite often in your spirit boxes. It's for 2 reasons. Depending on how many times we hear the number 7, nobody's given it to me yet. However, the doctor I just told you about, his birthday, July 7th, 7-7. John Calhoun is your 7th vice president. So if we hear it once and we have the name John, it's obviously that's who's starting to come through. If we have 7-7 and we hear Joe, it's obviously the doctor. So again, I look for those numbers all the time. Numbers never lie. So I want to say the doctor died in 84. So close but no cigar. I'll look up 85 for sure, just to see if it's tied to anything of where we're at now. So remind me to write down that number once I'm done over there. A couple of things else, we're going to get your mindset on pirates, because there's a lot of pirate history up here, and I didn't even want to believe any of this crap because I got kicked out of Philadelphia Alley. I was almost forced into it, and now I'm almost the full pirate expert, especially here in Charleston. I'm even playing video games with pirate lore in it so I can get a different version of the story. Keep in mind, pirate lore is exactly that. We're going based off of a lot of books that I read. I will spit off facts of things that were common among different styles of books and articles. So first and foremost, across the street is the sarcophagus of William Rhett. He caught Steve Bonnet, gentleman pirate, and sent him off to Nicholas Trott, our Chief Justice, the first Chief Justice, by the way. And he hung all of those men on White Point Garden to kind of warn off other pirates, and they left the bodies there to not come to Charleston. You can actually, when you walk across the street, you can see a sarcophagus and place your hand right on it through the gate. So, and that's if you're out here at night, because the cemetery is locked at night. You can walk it during the daytime because Calhoun is over there, so they keep it open. Also up the road, and I normally point it out, but there's a tour in a way, is what we call the Pirate House. It's literally on the other side of the cemetery, the western half. So the Pirate House, and don't go in his backyard either. Somebody actually lives there. He gets pissed when you look for ghosts in his backyard. Don't ask me how I know, but yeah, I'm the guy who makes all the neighbors mad. So with that said, that's where Blackbeard's men would come off their ships, have a place to stay, meet with a few young ladies. The cool thing is they actually dug a tunnel from the Pirate House 1 block away to Dock Street Theater. They would go over to Dock Street Theater because at the time it was called Planters Hotel. What happened there is it was a whorehouse, a playhouse, and a hotel. It was obviously the whorehouse was an attraction. It was pirates, guys, come on. They would actually go there for the playhouse because pirates work with ropes and knots and do really well with that. They would actually make a few bucks at these playhouses in between bartering with the locals. So the cool thing is well, not cool thing, but they actually filled in that tunnel in the 1990s. That part is not over. So rumor had it that Blackbeard actually buried some of his treasure there, but we all know that that's BS because that damn treasure's in North Carolina, not South Carolina. So if you're any kind of treasure hunter, you know the lore and you know where to look. But again, lots of pirate history here. What we're going to be doing now, did you get anything coming up on that? I forgot you were filming. Anything coming up? Anything weird? No. Nothing at all? Okay. We're going to go across the street. We're going to talk about the Powder Magazine and a strong female pirate from the Golden Age of piracy. So again, if you guys didn't notice, there's a lot of females in my tour. So, like Women's History Month, I thrive. Like people come on this tour just to hear the women's history, not so much to go ghost hunting. I found that out that's the way I was advertising. I'm like, come hear women's history, go ghost hunting. And I was like, that's the way I was pitching it. That's the way I was selling tickets. I'm like, I'm gonna go with it. It works because this is a lot of women. Eliza, we're gonna talk about the female over here, Sue, so forth and so on. Lots going on. All right, where are we at with time? I obviously don't pay attention to time. 10:45. All right, we'll go across the street and I'll kind of give you the gist of another story from here. Kind of gives you a little bit more, probably the more common stuff that you've heard. But again, that's myth and legend. But I want to give the other tours a chance to come up here. It's just a
Here, I will show you White.
demeanor, and her customs were probably a lot different than what we had here in the colonies. But this young lady, her name was Nettie Dickerson. 23 years old, nobody wants her. She gets stuck working over here at St. Philip's Church. I told you about Planters Hotel, had a whorehouse and a playhouse and a hotel, right? She sees all of the happy men coming out of this very happy establishment, and she wants to be able to please a man. So she goes and buys a beautiful red dress, and she goes down to Planter's Hotel, and she wants to get herself a job, and she gets it Johnny on the spot. So she's the best loved girl in the whole place. However, this is not what she wanted, of course. She's unhappy. She used to go out to this second-story balcony of Dock Street Theater and see the church off in the distance and ponder about coming back. And yes, you can see the church from that second-story balcony. I've been out there. So one night, the priest sees her out there. He's going to go down there, and he's going to try to convince her to come back. She's doing the wrong thing. She's whoring around, literally. So, storm rolls in. Lightning strikes the wrought iron banister that they're leaning on. It kills Nettie Dickerson dead. Very quickly. I know, very abrupt ending to the story. Here's the interesting thing about the ghost of what you can see there. The claim is that you can see Nettie Dickerson in her red dress on the second floor from the knees up only. Now, it takes nerds like me that do these investigations and have to learn history to figure out why from the knees up. It's not just that we have a short ghost without a hem of her dress. There's got to be a reason for it. When we renovated Dock Street Theater, we actually raised the first floor ceiling. So she is walking on the floor that she knows. Now, I normally tell you, when you can see a ghost or an apparition of any sort, that just like the Sue Howard Hardy picture I just showed you, it's pretty white, it's wispy, right? It's got that weird ghostly look to it. The fact that we could see her in color is all an anomaly all by itself. There's not many ghosts that you hear that you actually hear a color involved. It's normally something of a mist, right? So that's the other interesting piece to me. Do I have any evidence of Dock Street Theater? It is labeled as one of the top 10 haunted locations in America. I don't have that kind of evidence. I've been in there dozens of times. I've seen plays in there. I always take equipment. I've walked it while it was empty. I get nothing. So take it for what it's worth. The other ghost there is Junius Booth. Junius Booth is the father of John Wilkes Booth, who shot Lincoln in a theater, ironically. Another myth, only because the only identifier that they have for this ghost is that he's in period dress. He was an actor. He traveled through town. They say that he loved this theater so much that he just hangs out here. I call BS on it because, again, you can't really call that out. You know, how many actors has Charleston seen? How many actors has Planter's Hotel and Dock Street Theater seen? Again, we can't pinpoint what's actually going on there, so kind of take that one with a grain of salt as well. I know, it's getting late. It's like, let's move on already. I want to investigate. So let's talk about this building right here. This is the Powder Magazine. This is the oldest government building in South Carolina. Those crosses that you see are not crosses. Those are earthquake bolts. So those of you that are not familiar with earthquake bolts, the gist of that is that they're turnbuckles. If we have another earthquake, like what I told you about at the beginning from 1886, which we have not, and we had an earthquake a few weeks ago, so there's a 3.0, and my desk shook. And I went, hey, wife, we're in a new house. Why is the house shaking? And she said, I don't know, I didn't feel it. But anyway, you can turn the turnbuckles after an earthquake, and it'll slowly straighten the building back up. That's the whole point behind it. Great idea, just doesn't work. So they're basically a show these days. They're a part of the Charleston charm. So you'll see them with lion heads and pineapples and that kind of BS. The reason why those look so crude, it's the very first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston put in. Because this is the oldest government building we have. It's finished in 1713. So, let's talk about those walls that I told you about earlier. The wall that I told you about back at Lodge Alley, this is the street where the wall was. Okay. So it literally went up past the Powder Magazine and started going south behind me towards the battery. The reason for that is put the gunpowder magazine in the corners of the walls. If it gets struck by a cannon from 3 blocks away, which is the water, it's going to have a hard time going through the 32-inch thick walls. But let's say it goes all the way through. Right? It's going to blow up the gunpowder, and there's sand in the roof from 1712. It's going to go up in the air, and it's supposed to fall to put out the gunpowder, the fire. Great idea. Doesn't work. We had another gunpowder magazine by the battery. It got attacked much closer to the water, obviously. Sand went up, the building burned to the ground. So it no longer exists. This one has just never been attacked. It's now a museum. It did serve in 7 different wars, including the Civil War. So again, it's a museum now. I give you all of this history because during its construction from 1703 to 1713, 10 years doesn't seem like our government, right? For a small building. But anyway, sorry, a little inside joke. I said I don't talk politics, I'll leave it out. Our story actually begins in 1708. So here's where it gets all juicy. Young lady moved, there's a lot of twists, so you guys gotta follow me on this one. Young lady moves here from Ireland. She's with her dad and his mistress. The mistress is her mother. You guys with me so far? The 3 of them are getting away from his wife. So how pissed off was she that you got to move to Ireland in 1708 by boat? So I'm just saying. They get here, they buy a plantation in Georgetown, not far from here, about an hour and 15 minutes or so. Mom dies pretty quickly after arriving here to Charlestown, so he starts sending the daughter to Charlestown to start selling all the wares and anything from the plantation, probably rice, based on where the location was. It was right on a body of water. So the building is familiar. That's why we're here. This is another type of ghost that is just a familiar place. So again, same time. Anne back in Ireland, by the way, rumor had it she actually killed one of her servants with a knife to the belly when she was a child. So I'm just giving you the mentality of this chick. That's just pretty hardcore. So we're going to fast forward a little bit. Building's finished, 1713. 1715, Anne is about 16, 17 years old at this time, and pirates are coming through town. She's pretty stoked, right? She's not near her dad all the time. She likes to kill people, apparently. So, like, she's into this. She falls in love pretty quickly. This guy's name is James Bonney. Now, Dad doesn't approve. He's a filthy pirate. I'm not letting my girls marry filthy pirates either. So, they run away to Jamaica. Of course they do. That's what they did back then. They get married. Anne Cormac becomes Anne Bonny, the most famous female pirate of the Golden Age. Her career started right where we're standing. So, they get down there. This is not Captain Jack Sparrow. This isn't the guy she wanted. He's not hardcore like she is. He's not all badass. He's a privateer. He's a coward in her eyes. He's a spy for the British. So he's basically reporting back to them where the pirates are so they can take the ships. This is not what she wanted. A few years later, she falls in love again. This guy's name is John Rackham, guy number 2, in case you lost track. There's a couple more. I'm going to go through them all. John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. Much cooler name, has his own ship. This is the guy that she wanted. He's called Calico Jack because he wears the jackets of the men he kills. So again, just kind of putting all that framework in your head. So he has his own ship and wants to be part of it. Girls, pirate ships. You cannot have a girl on the crew. It just doesn't work. He makes a deal with her. If you dress like the crew and hide your gender, you can become part of the crew. Dad used to hide her as a boy. I just felt something brush up against my neck. I saw that crazy cat around your foot earlier. Like, I don't do that. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, when I say, like, I don't get, like, jumpy or anything, like, something came around your foot. And I just wish I would have had a camera on it.
Yeah, that's cool, because we had a cat.
You do have a cat?
We did.
What happened to the cat?
It died a few years back. Black cat. A little white chest.
I didn't get a good look.
But,
It was just something that moved that was in the shape of a cat.
So it made me happy. I'm like, hey.
What was the name of the cat?
Jack?
So there's a cat that hangs out here, and because of the nature of the story, I call him Jack. I don't know if it's a male or female, but that's funny. Like, that is really, really funny. And you can listen to other tours and be like, oh, Jack's here tonight, because he'll sit on certain numbers that are relevant to the story.
Oh,
of
that's
the parking
cool.
spaces. So we actually have him sitting on 20, 21, and 28. So it's interesting. And remind me, just because it's on top of my mind now, when we're wrapping up, remind me to tell you guys of the story of what happened here a few weeks ago when somebody passed out.
All right.
Because it happened here. But I'm going to leave that to you to remind me. I'm going to throw away my plate. They're heavy in my pocket. So
Oh, I got Governor and my child coming up this way, and he was telling me the child's story. Oh, substantial stairs. Anyway, so, Governor and my child came up while we were walking this way. There is a governor buried in there, and then the whole my child story. And then when we were talking about the female pirate, oh shit, harm, rather than real direct harm, gender, direct harm, gender. We were talking about the female pirate.
Okay, you can go check out like this parking structure, see if they have a restroom.
Okay. Is it done?
I think this is it.
Right, the gate over there, the church. All I felt was. And then I was standing like this, so profile. I was like, America! Holy.
let's get that video stopped.